Good afternoon, Board. My name is Asaki Antoine. I am the third Vice President of the Correctional Officers Benevolent Association. I'm going to provide you with some updates, and my hope is that the information that I give to you all follow up collectively. Each and every one of you follow up. Since last month's meeting, physical assaults on correctional officers have increased. May 16th, at the EMTC Center, a female correctional officer was stabbed numerous times in the neck by a male inmate, who I may add belonged in a gang. Could you imagine the fear she faced that day? As she defended herself and fought off her attacker, she received 10 stitches to the neck area to close that wound. This unprovoked attack left her scared and scarred for life. On June 3rd, another physical assault on an officer. He was brutally beaten by an inmate as he tried to escort the inmate out of the area for committing an act of violence in that housing area. The officer suffered a broken eye socket, which also required 10 stitches to close that wound. This unprovoked attack left him scarred for life. I want to remind you all of my testimony in February. My testimony of an officer, January 11th. The officer was punched in the face twice while hitting the ground. While on the ground, he was kicked in the face. The officer's right eye was shut and closed with 2 open wounds, one to the top, one to the below, which required 17 stitches, and he obtained multiple facial fractures. 5 months later, the officer is still in pain, trying to cope with the physical, emotional, psychological trauma from this assault. This officer is scarred for life. 4 more female correctional officers have been sexually assaulted, which includes their vagina, breast, buttocks growth. 53 in total. Correctional officers, women, had their bodies violated once again. But silence from you all, once again. Where are the public special reports and the fact-finding on these incidents? Where are the follow-ups on your agendas? I stand by and will not waver from this very point. You all continue to display selective activism and lack the emotional intelligence to move this board forward, which is the basic requirement to provide proper and equal oversight. Collectively, as a board, your behavior, your demeanor, dysfunction, and disrespect that you all displayed in public toward one another at the May 16 BOC meeting proved my point that this board desperately needs oversight. You speak of transparency. Real transparency is the acknowledgement and a public plan of action to address all issues that affect correctional officers, civilians, and medical staff working on Rikers Island, not just the inmates. As I tour the housing areas in each facility, I observe my fellow brothers and sisters making the ultimate sacrifice by ensuring the inmates are safe, ensuring institutional programs are afforded, coming to work and putting their best foot forward despite the challenging working conditions. They are physically exhausted, working 16 hours a day with no meal breaks, lack of time and energy spent with their families. There is no doubt in my mind, that real heroes, correction officers, work on Rikers Island. What I need for you to do is put our safety before politics. That's what's needed here. Thank you.
Today I would like to talk about 2 things. The rainbow that we're all expecting to come through the sky and just fix everything in 2027. We have to fix the Department of Corrections collectively. We have to change the Department of Correction collectively, all of us. We are the thinking minds today. We're going to talk about this can that we're kicking down the road. All of us, All of us are wrong for kicking this can down the road. And inside that can is the New York City correction officer, the same guy that goes to the supermarket with you, that rides the bus with you, that skipped you online at the theater. That's the guy that was in this can. He's suffering. She's suffering. 18-hour shifts, no vacation days, no visible sight to the end of this crisis that we're going through, the staffing crisis that we're going through. A young lady just walked up here and told you about April 26th, the North Infirmary Complex that caught on fire. The correction officer was trying to secure this facility. Take a pair of sneakers from an inmate that were an impermissible item. He decided, I'm going to burn the entire tier down and everybody in it. What she didn't tell you is that the New York City correction officer saved everybody there, themselves and every incarcerated individual. She's absolutely right. Healthcare is at a minimum. Do you know why it's at a minimum? No staff. We can't get them from point A to point B because the correction officer is tired. They're sleepy. They've been working very hard for 3 years with no end in sight. Another man came here just a few minutes ago. Like your suit, it was very nice. Talked about having a place where the program could take place, better than the day room. He's absolutely correct. Do you know why that place can't open? We're short of staff. Everybody here in New York City said, don't hire for the New York City Department of Corrections. You guys per capita have enough more than any other facility. But y'all don't understand and take into account we stand alone. We are the mark as far as incarceration is in the country. And our situation is more different than anybody else. We cannot continue to kick this can. That's inside this can is the correction officer. The correction officer, somebody that looks like me and you. Somebody that's just trying to live the American dream. Raise a family, put their kids through college, and it's unobtainable going forward. It's absolutely unobtainable. Could you imagine working 18 hours a day for 3 years? No vacation, no end in sight, nobody's telling you somebody's coming. There's no cavalry. These are the bravest people in New York City. Hands down, bar none. I'll argue that with anybody in this room, anybody in the state of New York. Think about every decision going forward that it has to do with them. Security first. And I'm going to give y'all all a secret. I don't want y'all to tell anybody. Nothing's going to happen to the incarcerated individual with his growth while he's incarcerated unless he's safe. He is not going to leave the confines of his cell, of his dormitory, and go to no program if he's not safe. Who provides that safety? I don't hear no finger snaps. I don't hear any finger snaps. The New York City Department of Correction officer provides that safety for everything going forward. I really need y'all to understand that. Thank you.